Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, love and light. When we walk through life, we're faced with a whole lot of cycles that happen simultaneously all around us, within us, for teaching moments, for guiding lessons, if you will, so that you could learn how to trust your intuition, to rely on your inner knowing, and believe more about your inner self and less about outside influence, but look into the deepest cores of you in order to determine the best choices to make on every turn. Because life is filled with change and it's filled with choice. And we are so lucky, whether you think so or not, to be in this particular time, in this very space. Because while we're going through our inner struggles or our inner revelations, and we're sorting through, and we're either beginning new cycles or ending old cycles or enhancing the inner talents that were always gifted to each one of us, right? Regardless of where you stand in today's world as an individual, there's still the energy of the collective that is all around you. And their energy may not directly affect you or your space. But that doesn't mean that you're not left with a choice to make. Because as you navigate your own life and you become more and more aware of asking questions or second guessing the narrative, or looking deeper, maybe a quest, if you will, for knowledge and wisdom that would help you, be more sure on the road that you walk, the skin that you live in, and the world that we call home, right? Now, I can honestly tell you that there's so many more important things to worry about than whether or not we're suspended in space, or if space is ice and water vapor and energy, or if we're on a flat plane or a level surface, if you will, whether or not we are covered like a snow globe with a dome separating us from the waters above, or it would be continually raining. We wouldn't want that. Regardless of what you may think that's like outside of your right now ability in order to see change in your specific environment, in order for your manifestations to grow and your inner knowing to flourish, right? And evolve into the best version of you. We also need to worry about what's going on within this space and not so much outside of this enclosure, because we can always talk about that later, and there's much to talk about. But what there is to talk about right now, to focus our energies positive and pure, would be to allow the change that's embracing, that's flowing, that's already here, to provide positivity, love, and light that intertwines or has unity and interconnectivity with all the other light essences that encompass or inhabit this world, this place, this landmass, however you want to, call it. And keep in mind that I include the oceans as landmass because on the bottom of that ocean, there's a floor. We may not see that floor, we may not even get down to those depths, but there's definitely a floor. Which leads me to believe that regardless of what we think is out there, that if that's the case and the ocean is hundreds and thousands of feet deep, right? Then wouldn't that make you think and say, well, why would it be deeper here and less here? So wouldn't it go straight along and, you know, be that deep underneath our feet as well, which I'm sure is, because there's a lot going on under the earth, inside the ground, you know, that we don't see, but we just know that it's there, right? And that it provides us nourishment and benefit. Just like we don't really know what's out there, and it really does provide nourishment and benefit when you remember who you are, where you came from, and what you're here to do. And even if that originally started as an experience in human form, understanding what it would feel like to actually have a 3D form, which is, you know, one of the hardest realms of all, because it's filled with a lot of density, and it was maybe done that way on purpose, you know, maybe not, but that's a topic for another day. But what I can tell you is that what's going on here within our space is corruption, disruption, and it's anarchy. And it's not anarchy that we are doing onto others, it's anarchy that's being done onto us. And it's being done silently, quietly, with a whole lot of different tactics, because the list is very, very long. How someone could change your perception or get you to believe something because they're excited about it, or that they send, you know, hidden clues, you know, that might lead you in a direction in which they choose. And here we could sum all that up by saying every larger group of individuals that carries more of a face that stands out of the crowd, whether it be your politicians, all of them, whether it be your religious sectors, all of them, whether it be your celebrities, your athletes, your musicians, your stars, every single one of them, and what they're doing by misluding you, by getting you to praise them or follow them or listen to them or be guided or directed by their narrative. You see, we were never meant to follow what it was that another person was supposed to do. That's why we're all individuals. That's why we weren't grouped up as a collective mass of robotic properties, if you will. That's where free thought comes into play. That's where our heart space and our chakras and our essence definitely has a lot to say. But if you allow somebody else to suppress your voice, your true song that is singing, vibrating, and living within you to be suppressed, and you allow their dense toxicity in whatever form, whether it be words or, you know, harm in other ways, because words could be used hurtfully and to suppress. It's how they perceive and how you accept what it is that they're telling you you should do. Now, I know in my life, I've come across a whole lot of people, from the top people to the bottom people, perceived by society, right? When, as far as I was concerned, they were either of the light or they were of the dark, or they gave away their divinity, or they were simulations that were created from the Matrix in order to be background or distractions that try to trip you up and keep you off your original vibration or your energy path, right? And when we incarnated here onto this planet, this space, right? Whatever you want to call it. We came here for growth and development. And in order to do growth and development, we have to do an inner dig. We have to be able to separate the falsities and the twisted narrative that was once something that we were led to believe we should be guided by, right? Some followed blindly, some didn't. And a lot of people who were boisterous were silenced, right? Because, why would you want to have somebody yelling and screaming that, this isn't right, that you're trying to suppress, that you're taking away, that you're stamping down, right? So they were labeled and carted away. And this has happened over time. And again, who was doing that? Oh, people who didn't want others to realize, to recognize, to remember their divinity within them, within you, within me, So now we're at a position where I really do believe that when the clock, the time, the calendar was manipulated by those same individuals, right? That it was done purposely, spitefully, harmfully, and to continue to push us in their, the way they perceive we should live, not how we were designed to be, right? Those are two different things. So when you see the suppression within, I don't know, let's say the banking system, well, when you go backwards in time, you realize that more than likely that's when the calendar was manipulated, when the angels were set free. Because in order for them to get spite or to add misery to the Creator, the best way to do that would be to compromise, hurt, harm, and hinder the products of, the children of, the light, the emanations of, and that's us. Hello, that's us. So when they decided, to enact upon their freedom, instead of using it to better their own existence, they decided that retribution, was better suited. And that's why, that's why the forefathers broke away from their native lands. And that's why they came to the United States. And that's why they disrupted the original inhabitants of here. And that's why they cast the veil of opposite, or a less vibrational or a lower frequency situation for us to be in, that's already kicking us off balance, and then messing with, the rule of life by saying that we have to pay to live here, that we should bow a knee, that we need to, depend upon, right? When we weren't created to bow a knee, to depend on, or to praise any other than our Creator. And let me tell you, our Creator doesn't want praise, doesn't want you to bend a knee, doesn't want you to live in a suppressed, position or society. Adding individual growth and development adds to the universal collective knowledge, and that adds more growth and more development for everyone, everywhere. Because when you remember who you are and remember the connection that you have, then the knowledge is easily provided to you within your inner knowing. When you think about something, a question you pose, And then, information, knowledge flows, where you apply your energy, that's where the energy, is provided back to a flow. So when you look at it that way and you stop providing energy, you stop whatever that energy may be, whether you decide not to follow, not to praise, not to look outside of, self in order to gain the divinity that already lives within you, that you realize that your power is immense, and that when we all link together, that we've created a powerful, angelic, because we are divine, right? Force of good, of positive, of forward, upward evolution through personal growth and development, by enhancing every part of us, by remembering when situations or nudges come our way, that they're there to help us propel. And it may feel a little stingful at first, because you can't get a brand new space if you don't clear away the old space. And sometimes when you demolish, when you take away the life that once had so much of us gripped up into, it could feel a little bit off balance, because, the repetition of our entire life of being told, A, B, C, D, and E. And let me tell you, there's the whole rest of the alphabet too, and then the number system to go along with. Because the one thing that all of these well-known or highly influential faces, right, know is that you realize the power that individually you have and collectively you hold, that there is no room for, continuing to try to hurt the creator by using the innocent as a weapon, a target, right? Because you would have turned that target, that weapon, back onto them by taking what it is that they truly love, which is your praise, your acknowledgement, your ability to look outside of you, to look inside of them, so that you can receive direction. No, no, and no again. Just think back a moment. Let's just say that you're young, right? Because when you're young, you're more boisterous, we'll say. Because you're more linked to the divine, because you really haven't been, indoctrined yet, if you will. But let's just say that you're a youngster and there's something in your sights, and that it's important, and you want it and you desire it, and you're actively, walking toward it. And then all of a sudden some big, grumpy, mean-ass grown-up with a scowl face, no love, no empathy, no compassion, no imagination, stands dead in your tracks right in front of you and says you can't pass. And you can't even think that way. And you have to think this way. And you've got 5 minutes to comply, or we're going to punish you. Right. Now you're this kid and you're happy and go lucky, and you're going on your journey of enlightenment, and this obstruction stands in your way. What are you going to do? I know that every kid I know would either go around it, jump over it, squirm me under it, like in between its legs or around the side. Just get away from it and continue on its way. Continue on their way with their imagination and their forward motion and their determination and desire still intact. And then what happens to that stern structure that once thought it could be a hindrance to that your, mine, whatever, young child's path. Well, they're left in the dust. They're left all the way back there. And they're so structured in what it is that they think that everyone should follow and believe, they just assume that there will be more gullible light essences that they can manipulate and, stop that in their tracks, that just will be coming their way. But don't let that obstruction stop you. Find your inner child where that resilience and that connection with the divine was still very close and connected, and use that strength and that courageousness and that desire to bring a better to manifest a better way that life could be when the power is taken away from those who feel that they deserve to stamp and hurt just to apply some type of chokehold to our Creator, to make twist. I don't know. But you know what I do know? Retribution is coming, because we already stepped into the times that justice will be served by the actions, by the motions, by the mannerism, the mindset, by each one of us hold. So make sure that when your time comes, that you need to answer, reflect, and dig down deep within the depths of you, that you see truth and you really learn the value and the lessons that you were being taught as you migrate through your individual life, while you hold the environment and the societies and the cycles in your sights. And know that there's always going to be a time and a place, but instead of waiting and allowing negative to fill your space, because stagnicity, that happens, make an honest effort to choose love, light, and positive forward motion. That you incorporate the learning lessons and allow your growth and your elevation to direct you in the society environment that is so desperately screaming for us to stand up and be united. My lovely collective, I do look forward to speaking with you. Reach out. I know that the videos are a little bit long. I could break them up, but I don't want to let the message be unheard. I would like the message to be as I'm guided to give it. And there's a whole lot of voices that are telling me, they encourage you. They encourage me to trust and believe in the brand new path that we're on, to allow enlightenment, love, and light to be your sparkle that allows your energy field to vibrate, to increase your frequency, to ignite your torch, the flame that lives within you, to help all of the light essences demolish, take away everything meant to hurt, harm, and hinder, and allow the flow of a much better life to settle in, and allow us all an opportunity to flourish and grow the way we were meant to, without having to worry about struggle or being suppressed or having, money dictate our life. Because although money is